Welcome to Beyond Poksha, where we journey into the unknown, the mysterious, and the unexplained. Tonight, we invite you to step with us into a world where history and legend intertwine, where the boundaries of time seem to blur, and where the past may not be as distant sananun barfal as ex we are hallucination. Our destination is France, a land steeped in centuries of art, culture, and revolution. But tonight we are not here for the familiar tales of kings and queens or the grand sweep of European history. Instead, we are drawn to a single place, a palace that has stood as a silent witness to the rise and fall of empires, to the whispers of intrigue, and to the echoes of footsteps long faded. The Palace of Versailles. Its name conjures images of opulence and grandeur, of glittering halls and endless gardens, of masked balls and secret meetings. But beneath its gilded surface, Versailles holds secrets that defy explanation. Tonight, we peel back the layers of time to explore one of its most enigmatic mysteries. Imagine walking these storied grounds where every stone and every tree has witnessed the unfolding of history. Imagine feeling a sudden chill, a sense that you're not alone, that the past is closer than you ever believed. For some, this is not just imagination, it is a lived experience, a moment when reality itself seems to shift. In the heart of Versailles, time seems to stand still. The Hall of Mirrors, once the stage for royal proclamations and lavish celebrations, now echoes with silence. But what if, for a fleeting moment, the silence is broken, not by the living, but by the past itself? What if the ticking of a clock is not just a measure of time, but a doorway to another era? Tonight we delve into a story that has fascinated historians, skeptics, and believers alike. A story that challenges our understanding of time and memory. It is a tale of two women, a summer afternoon, and an encounter that would become one of the most famous time slip cases in history. This is the story of the Versailles time slip. A story that asks, what if the past is never truly gone? What if, in the right place, at the right moment, we can step beyond the veil of time and glimpse a world that once was? Join us as we unravel the mystery and journey into the heart of the unknown. The year was 1901, a time when the world was on the cusp of great change, yet still deeply rooted in the traditions and mysteries of the past. The air was thick with the promise of a new century, and in the heart of France, the Grand Palace of Versailles stood as a silent witness to centuries of history, intrigue, and secrets. Its gilded halls and sprawling gardens had seen kings and queens, revolutionaries and dreamers, and now it was about to become the stage for an event that would baffle historians and paranormal enthusiasts for generations to come. On a warm August afternoon, two English women, Charlotte Ann Moberly and Eleanor Frances Jourdain, set out to explore the legendary gardens of Versailles. Both were highly educated, respected academics and women of keen intellect and curiosity. Charlotte, the principal of St. Hugh's College in Oxford, and Eleanor, her soon-to-be assistant, shared a love for history and adventure. Their visit was meant to be a leisurely escape, a chance to immerse themselves in the beauty and grandeur of the palace grounds, far from the pressures of their academic lives in England. Little did they know, their stroll would soon take a turn into the unknown. As they wandered deeper into the gardens, the atmosphere began to shift. The sunlight seemed to dim, and a strange, almost tangible silence settled over the landscape. The familiar sounds of laughter and footsteps faded away, replaced by an eerie stillness that made the women uneasy. The air grew heavy, and a faint mist began to curl around the statues and hedges, blurring the edges of reality. Charlotte and Eleanor exchanged uneasy glances, both sensing that something was not quite right, though neither could put it into words. It was as if they had stepped out of their own time and into another world entirely. Suddenly, the women began to notice figures around them, people dressed not in the fashions of 1901, but in elaborate costumes from the late 1700s. There were men in powdered wigs and tricorn hats, women in flowing gowns and ornate bonnets, all moving with a solemn grace that seemed out of place in the modern world. The colors of the gardens appeared muted, almost dreamlike, and the air was filled with a sense of anticipation, as if the past itself was holding its breath. Charlotte and Eleanor felt as though they were intruders in a scene from another era, invisible observers to a world that should have been long gone. Among the spectral figures, one in particular caught their attention. A woman with golden hair, dressed in a pale green gown, sitting quietly on the grass and sketching. Her presence radiated a quiet sadness, and the women would later come to believe that they had seen none other than Marie Antoinette herself, the ill-fated Queen of France. The encounter was brief, but it left an indelible mark on both Charlotte and Eleanor. They felt a chill run down their spines, a sense of awe and dread mingling in their hearts. The world around them seemed to shimmer and shift, as if the boundaries between past and present were dissolving before their eyes. Overwhelmed by fear and confusion, Charlotte and Eleanor quickened their pace, desperate to escape the strange vision that had enveloped them. As they neared the palace gates, the mist began to lift, and the familiar sounds of the present returned. The spell was broken, but the memory of what they had witnessed would haunt them for the rest of their lives. What began as a simple, pleasant walk through the gardens of Versailles had transformed into one of the most extraordinary and perplexing paranormal events in history, a mystery that continues to captivate and confound to this day.
Do you feel it, Eleanor? The air, it's heavy, almost unnatural.
Yes, and why does everything look so different?
The atmosphere grew oppressive. Birds stopped singing. The sunlight dimmed. The women saw figures dressed in 18th century clothing, men in wigs, women in gowns, walking calmly as if it was the year 1789.
Eleanor? That man, his face looks so strange, almost lifeless.
Don't look too long. I feel like we don't belong here.
Past then, they noticed a woman sketching calmly near the garden temple. Her dress, her face, everything about her felt eerily real. Years later, they became convinced they had seen Queen Marie Antoinette herself.
Charlotte, I swear, that was the Queen. We've slipped into another time.
Impossible, and yet, here we are.
Suddenly, for some other strange mist covered the path. The women felt dizzy, their vision blurred, and in a heartbeat, everything returned to normal. Birds sang again, the crowds of tourists were back. Later, historians confirmed the places they described did not exist in 1901 but matched maps of Versailles before the French Revolution. How could they have seen what no longer existed? As the first rays of dawn break over the grand silhouette of Versailles, the palace stands silent, shrouded in a gentle mist that seems to blur the boundaries between past and present. The Hall of Mirrors, usually alive with the footsteps of tourists and the echoes of history, is empty now. Its gilded surfaces reflecting only the soft, ethereal light of morning. In the gardens, shadows stretch long and thin, and for a fleeting moment, it's as if the air itself is charged with secrets. Was it a ghostly haunting of Versailles that those two women experienced? Or perhaps was it something even stranger, a glitch in time, a momentary slip through the fabric of reality that allowed them to glimpse a world long vanished? Consider the evidence. The ornate clock on the wall, its hands frozen at an impossible hour. The faint silhouettes of women in vintage dress gliding silently through the corridors. The statues in the gardens, their marble faces shrouded in mist, as if watching over centuries of secrets. These are not just the trappings of a haunted palace, but perhaps clues, hints that certain places are more than just stone and memory. Could it be that Versailles, with its layers of history and emotion, is a kind of echo chamber where the past lingers just beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to be replayed? Or is it possible that time itself is not as linear as we imagine, and that under the right circumstances the boundaries between then and now can blur, allowing us to step, however briefly, into another era? The story of the Versailles time slip is more than just a tale of two women lost in the gardens. It is a mystery that has fascinated historians, scientists, and skeptics alike for over a century. Some have tried to explain it as a shared hallucination, the result of stress or suggestion. Others have pointed to the possibility of environmental factors, strange magnetic fields, or the unique acoustics of the palace creating an atmosphere ripe for unusual experiences. But for many, the simplest explanation is also the most unsettling, that time, like the shattered gears of a clock, is not as fixed or predictable as we believe. Shadows move across the facade of Versailles, lengthening and shrinking as the day passes. But who is to say that the shadows of the past do not sometimes overlap with our own? The palace has witnessed revolutions, celebrations, and tragedies. Its walls have absorbed the hopes and fears of generations. Perhaps in rare and mysterious moments, those memories become more than just echoes. They become real, tangible, and impossible to ignore. Imagine walking through those gilded doors, the sound of your footsteps muffled by centuries-old carpets. The air is thick with the scent of wax and old wood, and somewhere in the distance a door creaks softly. The palace gates begin to close as dusk falls, sealing in the mysteries of the day. In the flickering candlelight, the shadows seem to move on their own, and you can almost hear the faint strains of music from a long ago ball. For a moment, you are not just a visitor, you are a participant in the ongoing story of Versailles, a story that refuses to be confined to the pages of history books. The experience of the two women, whether a haunting, a time slip, or something else entirely, serves as a reminder that the world is full of mysteries that defy easy explanation. We close the door on this chapter, but the questions remain, lingering in the candlelit corridors and echoing through the empty halls. As night falls and the palace fades into darkness, the gardens are bathed in moonlight and rolling fog. The boundaries between reality and imagination grow thin, and the unknown seems closer than ever. The story of the Versailles time slip remains unsolved, a chilling reminder that our understanding of time, memory, and reality is far from complete. So perhaps there are places in the world where the past is never truly gone, where the memories of those who came before us linger, waiting to be discovered by those who are willing to look beyond the surface. This is Beyond Poksha, where we explore the mysteries that lie just out of reach, and where every answer leads to new questions. Subscribe for more journeys into the unknown, more stories that challenge what we think we know about the world. Because the unknown has no borders, and the search for answers is never ending. Whether you believe in ghosts, time slips, or simply the power of imagination, one thing is certain: the mysteries of Versailles and of our own reality are far from solved. So keep your eyes open, your mind curious, and remember, sometimes the most extraordinary stories are the ones that refuse to be explained.